Okay, let's continue on with just a few more adding and subtracting problems. We'll do another simple one where we're going to get rid of the 8 on both sides by putting a negative 8. This time we get d is less than negative 15. The hardest part in this is making sure our number line is ordered properly. The negative 14 is to the right because that's actually bigger than negative 15, and the negative 16 is to the left because that is actually smaller. We're going to use an open dot on negative 15, and we're going to shade to the left. The next problem, we're going to have to read the words to figure out our inequality. It says 10 less than a number x is greater than 32. That less than is one of those tricky ones where we want to flip-flop the 10 and the x. So x minus 10 is greater than 32. Now we're ready to solve it by adding 10 to both sides. And we end up with the answer x is greater than 42. I'll place 42 on the number line, 43 to the right, 41 to the left, open dot on 42, and I'll shade to the right, greater than 42. Next problem has some fractions in it. As you well know, I don't care for fractions in my problems, so we're going to always eliminate the fractions. And the first thing I'm going to do though is change this to an improper fraction. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7, so we get 7/3. Now looking for my least common denominator, that would happen to be 6. So I'm going to multiply every term. Remember, a term is separated by a plus, minus, or equals, and this time greater than or equal to sign. We're going to multiply everything times 6. That would be the least common denominator. 6 times 3/2. Well, I can cross this out, make that a 1. Cross this out, make it a 3 by cross reducing. 3 times 3 is 9. Plus, I have 6w greater than or equal to cross reduce here. And I end up with 14. Finishing up this problem, I have a positive 9, so I need to put a negative 9 on both sides. I have 6w is greater than or equal to 5. Divide by 6 on both sides. And I end up with the answer of w is greater than or equal to 5/6. Now it's a little bit different because I haven't had any fraction answers before, but we'll go ahead and put 5/6 on the number line. And I'll place 1 next to it, and I'll place 0 down here. 5/6 says greater than or equal to, so I will use a closed-in dot, and I will shade to the right. The next problem is another fraction problem. I'm going to multiply again by the least common denominator, which in this case happens to be 4. It's the only denominator. I wouldn't have to get rid of the fractions in this problem, but since that's how we tend to solve all our equations, that's what we're going to do. 4 times 4 is 16. Keep the sign. I have 4k minus cross reduce. We end up with 3. I'm going to split this down the middle, and I end up having to add 3 to both sides, which gives me 19 is greater than or equal to 4k. Divide by 4 on both sides, and I end up with k. Bring down my sign, and I have my 19/4. K is not on the correct side for just shading purposes, so what we're going to do is flip-flop the k and the 19 over 4 around. This now says k is less than or equal to 19/4. 19/4 is 4 and 4/5. So I'm going to place 4 on my number line, 19/4 and 5. I'm going to use a colored in dot for 19/4 and shade to the left.